Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I basically just have, we wanted to share with everyone kind of what we did with the youth in Costa Rica and what that trip was like. I basically just have a slideshow for you. So I'm going to talk a little bit through that, and Abel's going to talk a little bit through some of the stuff as well. So you may know that we went July 9 to 16. We were there for 7 days, and it was wonderful. We stayed mostly in San Jose, Costa Rica, which is the capital. And yeah, I just wanted to share some photos. There's a few videos to kind of give you a little snapshot of what happened. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so this is us leaving the church. And yeah, like you can always jump in if I have anything. But this is us leaving the church. We had a bit of a caravan to go to the 3 hours to Bush Intercontinental Airport. So we had 7 youth and Abel and I as adults. We had the 2 Larson twins, Ada and Luke, and then the Sheasley twins, Sophie and Ellie, Milo Rains, and August and Ethan, who are over here. And so this is us in the airport. We made a point to find the Chick-fil-A when we got there, so. I was a little bit nervous before we got to Costa Rica because I didn't want to lose any children to airport security or anything like that. So once we arrived, I was able to kind of calm down a little bit. Once we arrived safely in Costa Rica, which is us here at the airport in Costa Rica, we had to take a picture in front of this sign, so that was fun. I also wanted to share a map of where Costa Rica is. I think if you're like me, you may not know where every country in the world is, and you may have thought that it was an island. But Costa Rica is in Central America, and it is kind of right here north of Panama and south of Guatemala, maybe? Yep, is that right? That's right? Okay, that's my bad. As you can see, I don't know all the countries. So also, this is a zoomed-in version. Definitely not a stock photo, but so we were in San Jose. We did not go to the beach. We were mostly in the city. San Jose is a pretty urban place, and we were there for most of the time. If you look north of San Jose, there's Alajuela, and we did some fun stuff there. But for the most part, we were in San Jose. Okay, so we worshiped at Good Shepherd, which is El Buen Pastor. And they are a bilingual congregation. They have a Spanish service at 8 o'clock in the morning, but we went to the bilingual service, or it's an English service at, I guess at 11 o'clock. We went to that. And this is us there. And this is also in the middle of the city. So if you looked around Good Shepherd, it's kind of in the middle of a city. And we did, yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
So it was also very cool when we were there. Shout out to the Worldwide Anglican Communion. There was a group from Switzerland there worshiping, and so we got to talk with them for a little bit. And it was just neat that we were all partaking in the body of Christ together from like all over the world. It was really wonderful.
So a group from Switzerland was also there, and during the service, it was, the liturgy was the same, but the music was different, and they introduced all the visitors that were there, and so we got to say hello to everyone kind of during the announcements portion of the service, so that was really interesting. So we did our vacation Bible camp at Good Shepherd, and we did that. It was a 3-day BBC, and we looked at the story of creation. So we talked about Genesis 1 and 2 mostly, God creating light and dark and all the things from days 1 to 6 and how humans are created in God's image. And I think it was, I thought it went very well. Here's some pictures from that. This is from our first day. And this woman on the left is She's the deacon at Good Shepherd. They do have a priest, but the priest is actually in seminary in Texas right now. So they're without a priest for like 2 years. And so she is their clergy right now. And she preached on Sunday. She is kind of the interim during this time. Her name is Patricia. And we introduced ourselves at the beginning of everything, and so they could kind of, meet, all the kids could meet us. And, we sang some songs together and then broke off into 3 groups, which I'm going to have to talk a little bit, but we had 3 kind of age groups. We had a very young group with like toddlers, basically. Ethan was with some of the little kids. They're like babies and maybe up to 2 or 3 years old. And then there was kind of this age group that you see that I'm kind of sitting at a table with that was about maybe up to age 10 or so, like 4 to 9 or 4 to 10. And that was that age group. And then Abel was with some of the older kids. And it was kind of an open-ended sort of youth situation. So he had I think a 21-year-old in his class. So they, like all ages is, well, not all age, but I think youth, the idea of youth goes up a little bit higher than, and it was open. So, she came and sat, and they had a great discussion, I think. So this is the classroom that I was in. Here's Ellie over here, kind of painting with everyone. Lots of painting, watercolors. So these are some of the babies that you can see Ethan and Ada with. Some of the little ones. Oh, that's the wrong way. Some more little ones. This woman right here, her name is Naomi, and she was the treasurer of Good Shepherd, and so she was one of the helpers during that week. And this is her little boy, Nigel. Yeah. So that was one of the classrooms, the little ones. And so this is Abel. You can talk a little bit about your class.
So I thought we were doing mostly like our age that we do for BBC. And when I got there, they were like, "Oh, you're helping out with the older kids." And I'm thinking, sure, they have a teacher with a lesson plan. And we all go up. There's, I think, 9 of us here. There's a few missing. And we're sitting there twiddling our thumbs, and I think Patricia comes in, and she hands me a stack of papers. And I'm like, great, this is what I'll be helping with. Page 1 had Genesis 1 through 8, and page 2 and the rest were blank. And that was the lesson plan that I had. And so kind of had to wing it, but it was a really wonderful time, and these kids were just so hungry and desiring to learn and hear about God and their love. I did have to do some adjusting because it is hard to talk for 4 hours about 8 verses to teenagers, but we made it work, and it was a really wonderful time. And I was really thankful, that I was able to use my Spanish with some of them. So that was really wonderful. And by the end of the time, I don't know if you have pictures, but they got out their cell phones, and Google Translate was really beneficial to having conversations between the groups. So it was really sweet time.
So, yeah. Abel did a really great job, like all 3 days, of really connecting with a lot of the youth there. And they got to talk about a lot more than Genesis 1 and 2. So I thought that was really cool. He went to the New Testament, and we talked about, Jesus and all that. So anyway, I thought he did a great job. And for the other classes, it was, I don't really speak Spanish. I know a lot of Spanish words, but I do not speak Spanish. And so there was, sometimes I was teaching with a translator, and sometimes other people were teaching, and I was just helping to lead. So it was a bit of a mix in there, So here's me llamo Ellie. So this was kind of a cool little snapshot for me that, even with the language barrier, I found that there were a lot of games that we played together that everybody knew how to play, and we played tic-tac-toe on people's hands, so that was cute. I thought that was pretty cute. For the first day, this was our memory verse with the kids. This is Genesis 1:1. This is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. and this was the little girl's name, Nazareth. And so she had really great colors, so I had to take a lot of pictures of her coloring sheets. And we had a coloring sheet. I actually brought several coloring sheets that were in Spanish and in English. So they were able to do a lot of coloring. And these coloring sheets on the left are actually from our vacation Bible camp, and I brought them over and we did some, it kind of looks like stained glass when you do watercolors on it, and it was really lovely. So we did that. And then this one is the creating the sun and the moon, and yeah. So this was after every day of Vacation Bible Camp. We had lunch for everyone. And so the kids had, I think, hot dogs the first day and sandwiches the second day. And Wednesday we had a big thing all together for the finale. So this is Abel. It looks like he's slapping somebody. He's not doing that. But I don't know. I think he was just gesturing. But it does look like he's about to slap somebody. So anyway. All right. I think this was just a photo op for me, but they were actually playing games. Like some of the older kids went out during one portion of BBC and they played games outside. So that was fun. So this was on Tuesday afternoon. We went to it's Hogar Escuela Episcopal, and so it's a kind of a daycare in San Jose. And by daycare, I mean it's very school-like. They have teachers, they have a principal, they have like a nurse, and it's very much like a school, and it goes up to grade 6, I think. And so whenever we went to Costa Rica, they're on vacation right now. They have their school schedule is different than ours, but they have about 2 weeks, I think, in the summer. Well, during it's not their summer, but during July area, they have about 2 weeks off. So there's a lot of kids at this daycare that we went to go visit. And this is a daycare that is funded by the Diocese of Costa Rica. And it was really wonderful. This is actually just a picture of us. But there were tons of kids that came to greet us, and they did kind of like a talent show for us. And we played a lot of games together. We played musical chairs with this huge group of kids. It was awesome. I mean, I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but it was a really great time. I didn't really get a good picture of all the kids, but it was a large room. Oh, that's true. Yes, we didn't really take pictures of the kids there.
But it was, so, I don't know if you were talking about it, it is funded partially by the Episcopal Church, but also by the government, which was really cool. So it's these two entities kind of working together for the betterment of these kids. And frequently, most of the kids there actually aren't paying to go there because it is a little pricey, and a lot of people there don't have the means to pay for a full day.
Yeah, and they were saying it really benefits single parents, and it's a huge help. There were lots of kids, and it was really great.
And they have a dentist office.
Yes.
So there's a dentist that comes in every month and gives free dentist to the kids that are there.
That was really cool. This is another very cool photo of us in front of, there was a mural outside of the daycare, and we had to take a pretty cool photo. So, I know. All right. So we also did a little bit of remodeling work. They're kind of updating their parish hall, and so we helped with that. They had actual professional painters too, but we helped with that. And if you're not aware, we had a small grant from the Diocese of Texas that was given to us to help with the project. And so some of that money was able to go toward this remodeling project at Good Shepherd. And so we have, as you see, us being totally serious and doing hard work. We first prepared the walls by scraping to get a lot of this. Actually, what you see was already like that, and we were trying to kind of smooth it down a little bit, did some sanding, and and then we actually painted. We went back, I think, on Friday and did some painting. So.
And this was really great. We've got these great walls.
True. Exactly.
And there's we're not supposed to go back in.
Yeah. This is just a little clip of a little snapshot of the hard work. Thanks, August. And this was, we played a lot of soccer actually. And if you know, like Sophie is a soccer player, so we got to do a little bit of soccer with the kids. Then they really enjoyed that. I think everybody liked that. Played outside. So I know they were quite good. So the last day of VBC on Wednesday, we kind of had the teaching portion was shortened, and we had a service. And so the bishop came, and the bishop gave us like a message, and this man in the blue, his name was Andrew, and he kind of translated for the bishop. And so this is Bishop Orlando Gomez, and he's asperging us with water, holy water, and it was a really wonderful, special time. I found it very special to kind of have this time all together, and we were able to give all the kids these certificates for VBS. It's awfully small, but it has, like, they would write the kid's name on there, and everybody was called forward to get their certificate, and it was really special. And I was quite touched that they put my name on there, and they like had, everybody signed it, and so I just.
Steph got a promotion to the
Yeah.
coordinator of kids and families for the entire diocese of Texas.
Yeah. Children and youth for the whole diocese, so I thought that was really funny, and it was really special to me. So you see, this is Deacon Patricia at the bottom, and then Linda Watts, who was also, she coordinates like Sunday school at the church. She's also one of the leaders, and so she was very helpful to me. And they presented us with a certificate. It like melted my heart, but this is kind of us. That's Patricia on the right, and then Bishop Orlando Gomez on the left. This is almost everyone. They're kind of coming out of the door, so you can't see everybody, but it started to rain, so we had to take this picture very quickly. But it rained almost every day when we were there, so it was really magical. And so this is Linda Watts. She was one of the people who really helped to organize everything, and we gave some of them like the St. Albans shirts, and so here she sent me a picture of her wearing our St. Albans shirt. I thought that was really cool. And this is this woman on the right. Her name is Tricia, and they were both like, I don't remember what her role is at Good Shepherd, but they were both very helpful. And then Abel and I, of course, and there's many of the church leaders with the bishop. I had to get a picture, and I had to write, like, we did a lot of chalk. I think chalk is really magical, so we, had some chalk as the celebration on the last day, and I wrote, Yo soy el buen pastor, right at the entrance of the church. And so these are two people that were, so this woman, her name is Montse, and she is a youth minister, not in San Jose, but maybe I don't remember exactly, but somewhere around San Jose. But she's one of the youth ministers there, and this is Andrew. He is an American, but he speaks Spanish, and he was staying at the Diocesan Center for kind of like an internship. Okay. So this is kind of some of the fun stuff that we'll like transition to showing you a few photos of that we went on. This is not Costa Rican coffee that we're drinking. Sorry if you feel tricked or bamboozled, but this is just regular Waco coffee. So we did go on a coffee tour that was really interesting and fun, and it was very, obviously it's very tropical looking, but I just felt like this place was very lush and beautiful. So Luke actually got chosen to like kind of demonstrate like picking the coffee beans, and there's like a basket that you wear, and so that was kind of cool. So there he is. And this woman was a great tour guide, and she showed us this, whatever that is, roaster. There you go. There was also a butterfly garden So that was really. We also went to go see a waterfall, La Paz waterfall, and it was really fun. Let's see. This was in Alajuela, and so it took about, I don't know, maybe like an hour. So you can kind of see, I mean, some of these photos I realize may be hard to see up there, but like some of the perspective, like where Ethan is in that photo. This is also Ethan and Milo eating lengua, which is beef tongue, and they loved it, right? Like 10 out of 10? Which I guess you can get that in Texas too, but it was kind of cool. This is us eating ice cream on a curb somewhere. And the waterfall was quite beautiful. I really loved these huge leaves. They're leaves that are probably the size of my body. I mean, they're huge. Yeah. After eating the beef tongue, we took kind of a walk through this little village, and I think that was a pretty cool time. It's very like wet and rainy there, so it was overcast almost the whole time. Okay, so this is kind of a silly like clip that I have, but it is a little bit funny as well.
There are these exercise parks just everywhere in Costa Rica with a bunch of just like easy body weight.
So there, yeah, like Abel was saying, this was not in San Jose, but there was also kind of a similar thing in downtown San Jose where you could just like kind of work out in the street. And so anyway.
August found a dog.
Oh, yes. He had a really magical time running with this dog right here. So there were a lot of pictures of this, and I just chose one, so you're welcome. Okay, so this is more fun, and this was in San Jose. And this was at the Diocesan Center here. Actually, both of these are at the Diocesan Center. And if you see this picture on the left, there's these photos in the back on the wall above the couch. And those are all the churches that the Diocese of Costa Rica partners with. And so I ended up bringing them a snapshot of St. Albans. So hopefully, I didn't have a frame at the time, but hopefully they'll frame it and put it on the wall so they can see a picture of St. Albans. This is obviously Ethan. They had two little dogs that were outside that we enjoyed quite a bit. And this is kind of just to show, like, just how much of a city it was. Like I was saying, we didn't go to the beach or anything. This was more of a city, like urban kind of trip. And I really enjoyed these sculptures. And this is again with the exercise equipment. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, you gotta, work out. So this was some of the street art. And this was one of the days that we got to hang out with a lot of those, with a lot of the youth. And we did, like a lot of the Google Translate stuff that Abel was talking about. We had a lot of fun this day. And we gave candy to the kids when they left Vacation Bible Camp, and so they did a lot of like bartering, like the day after Halloween sort of bartering with your siblings. So it was pretty fun that we got to spend a lot of time with them. Yeah, played Uno. You don't have to speak Spanish to play Uno. In fact, it actually helps to speak Spanish when you're playing Uno. So that was a lot of fun. And this was at one of the stores that was right near the Diocesan Center that had this huge candy section. We had a lot of fun in. And the very last evening, the bishop did a Eucharist service for us, and he gave everybody a little cross, a wooden cross necklace, and that was really special. And so after that, we had like a dinner with everybody, and that was just a really beautiful time for us to worship together. And that's it. That's the end. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy, or Abel will be happy to answer them. But if you don't, then I hope that you learned a little bit about what we did. And um, I thought it was a really special time to be able to connect with other, not just Christians, but Episcopalians in another country. Most people are not Episcopalian in Costa Rica, which I guess not in the United States either, but but it was a really special time for us to have that partnership where we have something so special in common. So, yeah, many thoughts.
But I think it was really wonderful just being there because we were very fortunate and very blessed to raise a good amount of money to be able to do this trip. And there are times when I was like, man, would it have just been better to send them the money? But then you look at, like, I was looking like this, right? The gift of time is really special. And so, like, spending time with their kids and then our kids and seeing, like, we are valuable to each other was really great.
Yes.
If we go, where is, so this lady on the end, her name was Elizabeth. She kind of works for the Diocesan Center, but she like volunteered to make us food every single day. And we had breakfast at, I think, like 7:30. And she had to travel over an hour, like 40 minutes on the bus and another 20 minutes walking. And she did it with such a glad heart. So it was really like Steph and I talked about how we weren't seeing this as a mission trip, but really like a partnership. And like we were blessing them, but we were also being very blessed. And people like Elizabeth who would like serve with such gladness in their heart were just such a blessing to all of us.
Yeah, I completely echo that, and that was something that was reiterated actually at the finale of the Vacation Bible Camp because maybe Patricia kind of said almost exactly what you said, and that's that we're learning from one another. Like they're learning from us, and we're learning from them, and it's a mutual giving and receiving, and that was a really valuable and special thing for us to experience, and I certainly hope for them. So, yeah, if y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but if not, there's more coffee. Do y'all have any? Yeah. Sure. That's a good question. So she asked what the relationship was between us and kind of these people down here and how that even got started. Is that kind of what you're asking? So last fall, I was trying to figure out, what sorts of things to do, what possibilities there were for us with the youth ministry. And Neil and I were talking. Y'all remember Neil? Used to work here. And so he and I were talking, and the Diocese of Texas has a few different partnerships. As you know, we're partners with Southern Malawi. We're also partners with the Diocese of South Dakota, and we're partners with the Diocese of Costa Rica. Those are our three major partnerships. And I didn't think Malawi was an option this year, although I would like to go. That's a side note, but I think St. Albans should go. But that's beside the point. I actually did investigate going to South Dakota, and it sounds like some of that partnership has been a little bit dormant recently. I think maybe some of that may be COVID. I'm not sure, but I wasn't able to get any traction with that. I think there's some reservations and some indigenous work that they have done in the past, and I'm not sure what that's like. I would be curious to investigate it in the future. But I began to investigate the option of Costa Rica. And a lot of this information is actually on the Diocese of Texas website on epicenter.org, right? And when I investigated, I called a woman named Marcia Quintanilla, who is she's the youth minister at the cathedral in Houston, Christ Church Cathedral, and she's also on the World Mission Board. And I asked her, I was like, can you tell me anything about this? I have no idea. What's the partnership like? Could I do anything? Are there even options? I have no idea. And she said, actually, we're taking a trip in February to kind of reignite some of our connections with the Diocese of Costa Rica. They've gone in the past. There's been diocesan trips in the past, and her church youth group has gone, and there's been many trips. And so she said, we're actually taking this exploratory trip to kind of touch base again. There had been no trips since before COVID, just because of travel stuff. And I ended up being able to go on that, and that's kind of how that ball got rolling. Yeah. Thoughts or questions? Well, say what? Yeah, y'all should roast, not roast, interrogate. Sorry, don't roast them. Yeah, Ethan and August. I mean, there's a lot of kids, obviously. There's the other 5 kids couldn't come. Some of them are out of town. Actually, some people are sick right now, and so we couldn't have everybody come, unfortunately, so it's just us. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, you're certainly welcome. I think they had a great time. Did you have a great time? You did have an excellent time. Yeah. So she asked if it kind of accomplished what we intended it to accomplish, or if it formed the relationships and the kind of foundation that we intended. And I think I would say yes. I think it was intended to be kind of a foundational sort of trip. And even, I mean, I had gone, but that was just me seeing what the options were. I think for our church and for our youth group, it was definitely a foundational sort of exploratory thing to see, I think, just to make relationships and to see, kind of form relationships with some of those people. And some of the needs that they have are for like Christian formation. Like they're trying to work on creating a system for Sunday school and getting curricula and, raising up and training Sunday school teachers. Those are some of the things that they're working on, and training more priests and lay leaders. And so I think always working with kids is like a go for me, but there are other like formational opportunities that, whether it's us or somebody else, I think in the future is a great way to for like trips in the future. You have thoughts about that?
And there was, at least in my class, there was one girl who like the first 2 days was very standoffish. She was not really participating when I asked her questions. And then on lunch on the 3rd day, which was the final day of BBC, her and Ada and Luke started talking because she knew a little bit of English, and they became very good friends. And then that afternoon, when they came over to the diocesan house to watch a movie, they talked for hours. And so I think that was also like I think we're building like relationships at the higher level of like the dioceses.
I know, I do
Dioceses
the same thing.
And the churches, but I think at a much smaller scope, there were just our kids building relationships with the kids down there. So that was really beautiful.
Elizabeth? That is a great question. I do not know what next summer will be. I think it's an option. I think it's not the only option though. So I think there's a lot to be done here as well in the United States. So I'm a little bit open to that. I would be interested in going again, but I'm still kind of discerning what kind of relationship we want it to be, and whether it's we want to go every other year or every 5 years or every year. I'm not sure. So I'm still kind of discerning that a little bit. We will do something next year.